So, Mr. Gary Clark Jr., you've just stepped off the stage, British Summertime Festival. How was it?
It was great. It was absolutely incredible, man. We came a long way from Austin, Texas. To
Absolutely.
Be here. And crowd was cool. Got things kicked off. And, yeah.
So, can you talk us through a little bit the gear that you were using tonight? Because you had a lovely array of guitars, obviously. We expect that from you, but what was your setup?
Setup is a divided by 13 rig that my guy Zapata hooked me up with because apparently my other amp that I had got voted out without me.
Oh, okay. Well, tell us more about that. Voted out without you.
Well, I showed up one day and my other amp was gone. So apparently people have been plotting on me.
Okay.
It's one of those things. So yeah.
What was the previous amp?
I'd rather not.
Okay. So it's a little bit of an endorsement situation, is it? Is that what's going on? Okay.
Yeah.
But the divided by 13 is working for you.
It's working for me for now. Yeah. No. But my main thing is Fenders. I grew up playing Fenders. You know, like my first Fender was a Fender DeVille.
Sure.
You know, and then I moved over to Vibro Kings.
Yeah.
And tried Twins and Princeton Reverbs. I love. I use Princeton's in the studio.
Sure. And then guitar-wise, what you got?
Guitar-wise, I've got Bill Asher, a model that I use for the song Maktub, and a couple other things. I've still got my Ibanez Blazer that I got in 1997. I still play that one. I've got a Wide Sky. It's a hollow body by this guy Patch Rubin. He lives in Hawaii, and so he hand makes all these guitars, and they're great. They're like Stradivarius, you know, like violins.
Beautiful.
It's a beautifully crafted instrument, you know. And I'm I grew up, you know, blues guy, and so I gotta have the Fender. I gotta have the Gibson, you know, 355.
Of course.
You know,
Completely different tone there, eh, with the 355.
it's completely different, you know, and it's like the BB King tone, you know. That's the sound I always wanted. So Gibson hooked me up with that. But that's my rig that I've got out here on the road for now. I think I got a Strat that my wife gave me. I think we brought that one out, but we're slimming down over here.
Okay.
You know, but in the States it gets a little bit ridiculous.
You ever considered going the digital realm? Because obviously you tour all over the world, and you know, when you're taking all this gear around, it's that extra added stress of like, is a valve going to work? Is this going to work? Is that going to work? A lot of people switch to digital. That ever been your bag? You know, the Kempers and the Axe Effects.
No, I haven't really explored that world. But I did do a gig with her.
Mm-hmm.
We did a Prince tribute together, and she was using a digital rig, and it sounded amazing.
Wow.
It sounded incredible. But I'm old, man. I'm from like the school of like Gibson, Fender, and
If it works, don't fix it, sort of thing. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah. So I remember I came into a blues jam. I was like 15, 16, and I had a solid state crate, like 60 watt, and my Ibanez guitar, and all these old blues guys are like, "What the hell is that, dude? Like, are you serious? Get that out of here!"
Yeah.
You know. So I still struggle with trauma from my teenage years of being bullied by old blues guys.
But it's extra fodder for songwriting, I guess. You know, like.
No, I don't. No, I've never thought about it, but it might be a new bag for me.
Gary, what was the first thing that you heard? Do you remember when you were a kid? The first thing that really moved you in music that made you feel, this is for me.
Yeah, my first concert was seeing Michael Jackson live on the Bad Tour in 1988, and I remember seeing Jennifer Batten playing the guitar solo for Beat It, and I was like, whoa, what is that? I need that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if I need the light show with the hair and all that, but I need to play guitar, you know. And from that, I remember seeing, like, watching old videos of the Jackson 5 and watching Tito and Jermaine Jackson stand out, you know, these young kids that look like me.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I want to do that too, you know. I didn't know kids could hang out and do that. But the real thing is, when I got my guitar, my friend Eve gave me a Jimi Hendrix The Ultimate Experience CD. And my neighbor next door, Brett, gave me a Stevie Ray Vaughan's Texas Flood album. And I went home and I heard doom 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 doom. And if you know the rest, how that comes in. And I was like, what the hell is this? The tripped out sounds and the phasing, the panning and everything.
The evolution of that sound.
Yeah, I might have been influenced by a certain herb, and that just took it to the next level, you know?
Absolutely. What's coming up next for you for new music?
New music, well, I just released the album JPEG Raw in March, so pushing that.
Do you feel the pressure these days that, you know, as soon as something new drops, which JPEG Raw, fantastic record, but straight away fans, just like myself, they're like, what's next? And that feels like very different from 20 years ago, where someone could live on a record for 3-4 years, you could tour it, but now people are like, what's the next thing? Do you feel that pressure, or are you just kind of in your own lane?
I feel the pressure a little bit, but also that's not the way that I create is not really what I would call creating. It's getting in a room and being open to receiving something. And sometimes it'll come, sometimes it doesn't. But I always feel like if I force something just to get something done, I hate it later.
Wow.
You know? And so...
You feel it's not authentically you?
Yeah, I just feel like this is how it goes. If I have something connect with me, I'll sing it over again, or I'll play it over again and over again, and I'll leave it alone. And I wake up the next day, and if it sticks and I remember it note for note, word for word, then it's something. It's meant to be here.
Of course, that makes perfect. And then just final thing. We've seen you pop up in a couple of films over the years, and it's always such a delight to see you do that. First of all, can you tell us a little bit about how does that? Is that something that guys are just approaching you out of the blue, like we feel like that's the perfect thing for you, and would you do some more in the future?
Yeah, I mean, I love getting on set and getting in wardrobe and being a part of some other story, you know. But it's been very I haven't had to stretch as an actor. Everything has been, can you play a blues guy, pretty much. And yeah, no problem. If I really want to do it, I'm going to do something that's really, really challenging.
Okay.
You know, I think that would be a way for me to test my chops and see if I really got it in me to pursue it on a real level, is to like really step out of myself and body a character and tell a story convincingly, you know, to where you don't see me, you know.
You look very comfortable in it, so I would love to see it.
I love it. I grew up as one of those nerdy choir musical theater kids on stage and acting in plays and stuff, and so, you know, I'm not scared of a script.
Absolutely. Look, Gary, pleasure. Congratulations today on the great show. Congratulations on a new record.
Thanks.
And we'll see you again when you're in the UK.
Appreciate you, brother.